All right, so every year in real estate, we get this thing. It's kind of like the industry's report card. It's called the Swanepoel Power 200, and it tells you who's really calling the shots. But let me tell you, this year's list, it's not just a little reshuffle. It's more like an earthquake. It's showing us that the very ground rules for what it means to be powerful are completely changing. Now, the person at number one, yeah, you'll probably recognize the name, but that's not the real story here. The real story is this number. 5. That's right, 5 new faces have just crashed the top 10. This isn't just some minor shakeup, folks. It's a huge signal that the old ways of climbing the ladder, well, they're just not working anymore. The old guard has officially been put on notice. So, what this really means is, it's not just about new people taking over. Nope. We're watching the very definition of power in real estate change right before our eyes. The old rules, they're getting tossed out the window. The entire playbook for how you gain influence is being completely rewritten from page one. Okay, so with all this chaos and change, there is one thing that's staying the same. Robert Reffkin. The CEO of Compass is holding on to that number one spot for the second year in a row. He's even expanding his influence with a new international role. And honestly, having him so solid at the top just makes that earthquake happening right underneath him seem even crazier. So you gotta ask, how did we get here? I mean, for decades, power was pretty simple. It was all about how long you'd been around, tenure, legacy, that was the name of the game. But that playbook, it's totally obsolete now. Today, it's about being laser-focused with your strategy, executing it perfectly, and controlling the things that really matter now, like platforms, capital, and most importantly, access to listings. And look, don't just take my word for it. The people who actually make this list are saying the exact same thing. Jack Miller, he's the CEO of T360, put it perfectly. He said power is now all about strategic clarity, operational execution, and platforms. In other words, it's not about your last name or how long you've been in the business anymore. It's about what you can actually do and what you can build. So, okay, how are people actually winning in this new world? We've looked at the list, and we've spotted 3 main strategies that are pushing leaders to the top. Let's break them down one by one. First up, strategy number 1. It's pretty straightforward, but man, is it effective. We're talking about bold acquisitions. These aren't just little purchases. These are massive, game-changing moves that literally reshape the entire industry, sometimes overnight. And who's the poster child for this? You guessed it, Robert Reffkin again. I mean, just a few days into the year, Compass swoops in and acquires Anywhere Real Estate. And people who saw it happen said it was done with astonishing speed. It was just the super decisive move that locked in his number one spot. It just goes to show you how one big, bold move can directly translate into a whole lot of power. Okay, on to strategy number 2, building a disruptive model. Now, this is all about challenging the old way of doing things, shaking up the very foundation of the traditional brokerage. The people who are winning with this strategy, they basically threw out the old playbook and built their influence from the ground up with something totally new. So let's look at some examples. You've got Glenn Sanford, the founder of eXp. His model is so powerful, it landed him at number 4. But then you've got this guy, Robert Palmer from LPT. He used a similar kind of cloud-based, agent-focused model and just skyrocketed 43 spots up the list to number 25. That kind of jump is just insane, and it's a huge testament to how powerful this kind of disruptive thinking can be. All right, our third and final strategy might just be the most modern of them all: radical transparency. Let's be honest, real estate has a reputation for being a bit murky sometimes, right? Well, the leaders who are leaning into openness, who are all about controlling data but also sharing it, they're discovering that this is an incredibly powerful new way to gain influence. And this idea actually has a name. It's called listings access. The folks at T360 say it's one of the most important levers of power right now. And it's not just about hoarding data for yourself. No, it's about making a public promise to be transparent. We saw this play out with leaders who run big consumer platforms. The ones who took a really strong public stand on making data accessible, they saw their influence go way up. Okay, so we've seen how the game is being played at the very top. But what does this mean for everybody else in real estate? Well, this whole shakeup, it isn't just happening in the top 10. It's a sign that the pace of change is speeding up everywhere, for everyone. Want proof? Just think about this number for a second. 38. That's the number of brand new leaders who made it onto the S&P 200 this year. That's almost 20% of the entire list. It's clear proof that new players with fresh ideas are breaking through not just at the top, but at every single level of the industry. And the movement is just wild. On top of those 38 newcomers, you have another 39 leaders who leaped 10 or more spots in just 1 year. But here's the real punctuation mark on all of this. Glenn Kelman, the CEO of Redfin, a guy who was basically an icon from the last big wave of disruption, he's stepping down after 20 years. If that's not a powerful symbol that one era is ending and a new one is beginning, I don't know what is. Things are just moving faster than ever. So there you have it. The rules have definitely changed. Big time acquisitions, disruptive new models, and a serious commitment to transparency. That's what's defining this new era while the old guard steps aside. So it leaves us with one big question, right? Using this new playbook, who's out there right now building the kind of power that's going to dominate tomorrow?